So, with all that being said, I am looking forward to my first. Ooh, I'm looking forward to the first interview of 2020. All right, let's see. Selena Rose did attempt to call, but Skype decided to just trip to be bipolar. So yes, Selena Rose did attempted to call. Hopefully she will call back, and we'll get this interview officially going. Let's see. Selena Rose, are you there?
Hey.
Hello and happy New Year to you.
Happy to-
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being on the show. You are the first interview guest for this particular show in 2020. Just thought I'd let you know that.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm very happy to be the first guest you guys have this year.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and begin. How did you get started into wrestling?
So I got started with wrestling. My uncle actually got me into it when he came back from serving overseas. He got me watching it when I was like 8. When I turned 16, he helped me find a training school, and that was my sweet 16 gift. My parents paid for me to start training, and I've been doing it ever since.
So who are some of the wrestlers out there, whether it's male or female, that you looked up to growing up? Those in particular that inspired you into becoming a wrestler?
Oh, as a kid, it was definitely the Hardy Boys and Lita. AJ Lee was another one. CM Punk, who Beth Phoenix, all those guys. Loved them.
I got love for the Hardys.
Yes,
Yeah, just
absolutely.
Carolina representing. I know
Yes,
I know you're from North Carolina. There's
I am.
a lot of Carolina representing in the wrestling world throughout the years. Guys like the Hardy Boys, Shane
Hmm.
Helms, aka the Hurricane, Juan
Yes.
Juan Killings, aka R Truth. Um,
Hmm.
the recently engaged Charlotte Flair, um,
Yeah.
Ric Flair, obviously. The list goes on and on and on. So North Carolina been repping in the wrestling world for so many years. Um, and just you growing up, being a wrestling fan, being a wrestler, like,
Hmm.
just how does it feel to see all this talent? And also Tessa Blanchard, I believe she's from North Carolina as well.
She is.
So how does it feel, you being a wrestler, seeing all this talent for North Carolina and just having so much success?
It's great. It's talent. You can look at now. It's just so many great talents out there. It's amazing.
So as far as your wrestling career, do you remember the first ever wrestling match that you had, or first appearance that you had in a wrestling ring? If so, what was you doing at the time? Was it a match? And how did that whole experience felt for you?
First match was I just hit a year doing this. So it was in October of 28. Yes, I think 18. 18. It was. I was so nervous that day. I was really nervous, and then I remember having it and it being so much fun.
Wow, that's I will say this as a fan, I wouldn't know how it feels like to perform in front of a crowd, an audience. That can be nerve wracking, and it can be
Yes.
overwhelming for so many people. as people like to say, wrestling is not ballet per se. So to anyone that has the guts to go out there, perform, whether you're a good guy, bad guy, and just perform, I give them credit, regardless if I like the individual or not. But I give credit to all the men and women that just goes out there and perform. So as we are in the new year, what are some goals that you have for yourself that you would like to accomplish this year?
This year I definitely want to be wrestling every weekend this year. I want to be as places as possible, meet as many new fans and people as possible. Those are my top goals for this year.
So, and who are some wrestlers out there, indie scene, pro, whatever the case may be, that you would like to go up against, or just the dream matches per se? It could be more than one person, just anyone in particular.
Definitely Tessa Blanchard, Charlotte Flair, Chris Stratlander, who, Nyla Rose. There's so many talented people out there I want to wrestle. I could go on for hours naming people.
I like the names that you mentioned. I'm really starting to become a fan of Statlander. Like
Yes.
I didn't even know who she was like a month or two ago, and now I see her in All Elite Wrestling, and she's showing some strides. I like what I see from her thus far in AEW, and I think
I,
she's going up against Rio for the AEW Women's Championship next week. So that's a big opportunity for her.
very good.
So shout out to Chris. Um, Now, do you have any upcoming shows, upcoming appearances that people need to know?
So next weekend, January 11th, I will be in Cleveland, Ohio for Real Shoot Wrestling, and I'll be taking on Sadie Lee Moss for her women's championship, I believe.
Okay, so if you were to see her right now, face to face, um, what would you say to her as you look to, win this championship from her?
I would just have to let her know that I'm going to be leaving Ohio with her championship.
Well, it's right to the point. I like that. so, so, what would your advice be to anyone out there that would like to be a wrestler or at least get started into it? What would your advice be?
Go for it. Keep working hard. Don't give up. It'll be worth it in the end. Just go for it.
I've had stories from wrestlers, especially women wrestlers, that had to, um, as far as getting starting into training, and they be like either the only woman or one of a few women that goes through the whole training with a lot of men, and we all know how wrestling is a male dominant sport, but obviously women
Yeah.
wrestling can be just as good as the men, if not better. Um, did you, when you started training, were you like the only female, or was it
I
just
was.
okay?
I went to my training school. It had just opened. I was the first female trainee. As far as I know, I'm still the first female graduate from there. And as far as I know, I don't think they've had any other ladies. I mean, I know they've had a couple join, but no one stick through with it.
You got dedication. I definitely give you that.
Mm-hmm.
So when the whole training happened, obviously there'll be some guys that will be hesitant of whether to hit you or not. Did
I ran into that a lot.
Yeah. So did was there any hesitation for from the guys, fellow trainees per se, or that you just went up to them and said, "Treat me like everybody else"?
Yeah, there was definitely some hesitation from some of the guys. I would tell them just to hit me. When I'm in the ring, I'm one of the guys, and I had a great coach, George South. He was like, look, I know she's a girl, but you can still hit her. She's tough. She's got this." George said those words at least once a week when we trained.
Hey, when the trainer tells you to do something, you do it. So
Exactly.
you get that approval from the coach. For
Yep.
that's saying something. So George South, I definitely know that name. Trained a lot of great talent throughout the years. Shout out to George South, truly a legend, and someone that if you like in the North Carolina area or in the
Mhm.
area that he's at, go to him, go check him out, and he gonna get on your nerves, but it's gonna be worth it, pretty much.
Yes, he's the best trainer in the world. I
So
love George.
so,
So
so
much love and respect for that man.
yeah, so shout out to George. So for people that wants to keep in touch with your career and see what shows you're gonna end up next, do you have any social media feeds that people need to keep an eye on?
Yeah, definitely. My Instagram and Twitter are both under at Selina Rose Pro, and then my Facebook is under Selina Rose.
It was great chatting with you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you
And
so much for having me.
continue success and keep doing what you're doing. And hopefully you will be going into Ohio as a challenger and walking out as champion. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys so much.
You have a good night.
You too.
All right, bye bye.